Panther Nation, what is good? Welcome back to Two Fans in the Stands. I am your favorite armchair GM, CJ.
And I'm your favorite couch scout extraordinaire, Tony. Come on, one time. Every time.
Lord have mercy. All right. Well, y'all, Panthers took another L. Wasn't all bad. Wasn't all good. We're going to get into it. Let's get it. Tony, cousin, 0-3. How you feeling?
I'm not feeling too good today about this 0-3 start. Yeah. I was trying to think of something else to say, but I really don't have anything else to say, bro. 0-3 sucks right now, and it don't feel good. I hope things get better soon and very soon. But here we are, 0-3. Giving me the blues. How about yourself? How you feeling?
Me personally, I'm okay. As a Panther fan, you know, it's depressing right now because I really didn't see us being 0-3. At the very worst, I would say 1-2, because I did think that we were going to clip either Atlanta or New Orleans. You know, I had a little bit of hope that we were going to get Seattle because they had so many injuries, offensive line, defensive backfield, you know, starting tight end. Again, I had hope, and it just got tossed out the window on 85 on my way to work, and somebody ran over the shit. So, and here we are.
Yeah, here we are. And the thing about it, I think it was before even halftime, our injuries damn near matched theirs.
Yeah.
So
yes, and we will get into all of that here shortly. But before we get started, thank you to everyone that's already liked the page, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. But if you haven't already, please do the same. Give a page a like, hit the subscribe button, turn on those post notifications so you know when our videos come out. We're at 845 subscribers, still on our way to 1,000, and we appreciate all the love and support. All right, Tony, let's go ahead and get into this, cuz. All
right, let's go.
So we got the stats from the game. All right, you got Andy Dalton. He was 34 of 58 for 361 yards. Geno Smith, he was 23 of 36 for 296 yards. Miles Sanders, 9 carries for 24 yards and a touchdown. Kenneth Walker III, 18 carries, 97 yards, 2 touchdowns. All right. One thing we have been waiting for, you know, finally happened. Our pass game picked up. Adam Thielen, 11 receptions, 145 yards and a touchdown. DK Metcalf, he had 6 receptions, 112 yards and a touchdown. And to be honest with you, the rest of the stats, it does, isn't it? There's nothing here that really jumps out at me. You know, the time of possession was about the same. They had 4 more first downs than we did. They had about
55 yards.
Yeah, more yards. They had 1 turnover. You know, we didn't have any, which was a good thing. But I want to point out to everybody, if you look middle of the screen here, okay, and you look down team stats, right below red zone, made in attempts, penalties. Okay. Now, you look at that and you don't know what we're talking about, you would say, oh, 13 for 82 for Carolina. They had 8 for 82 for Seattle. You be like, oh, okay, you call that even. Absolutely not. 8 of those penalties were false starts. Okay. 8 were false starts. 4 of them by our starting left tackle, Ikem Ekwonu. I ain't gonna call him Icky. Ikem Ekwonu. Okay, that's how bad he played. I refuse to call him by his nickname, which I like since he been here. No, he is Icom today. Icom Equanimous. 4 of them. He had 2 of them on back-to-back plays. Back-to-back plays. I promise you. I put out a short about it. And let me tell you, Andy Dalton stood up and looked like, yo, like what the fuck? Like what are you doing?
Right, exactly.
And it was
exactly.
Let me tell you, if one thing, I would say 2 things hurt us very bad in this game offensively. It was the lack of scoring early. Okay, it's becoming the theme this season. Panthers keep getting off to these really, really slow starts, and then the defense is never able to hold up when the other team does what we failed to do for the last, 700 years, is make adjustments. Other teams make adjustments. The Panthers just ride the game plan out and say, this is what we started with, and we don't have anything else to do. Okay. I'm probably wrong, but that's the way it looks. Anybody else want to tell me different, please leave a comment. Let me know. Okay. And, oh goodness, now I said that. Now I had a brain fart. But, and these penalties, and these penalties, they were drive killers.
Yeah.
You start a lot of 10 and then you end up 1st and 20. Go ahead, Tony.
Yeah. Well, no, I was gonna say I saw on Twitter where a lot of people were going back and forth. Was it the penalties caused by coaching, or was it not caused by coaching? And they're arguing about who know ball, who doesn't know ball, blase blah. Here's the thing that I do know about ball. You can be the best coach out there. You can practice and preach certain things every day, week in and week out. For whatever reason, if the player is not absorbing that information or absorbing that teaching, it's going to show on game day. Now, here's the thing. This is a players' league. Nobody is on that field but the players. Not a coach, not a GM, not a fan. No, nobody. Nobody has a direct effect on what happens each and every play but a player, because they are the ones that execute the plays. Your execution as a lineman, the snap count before you break the huddle. Every offensive lineman, everybody on the offensive line, everybody on the offensive side of the ball knows the snap count before they break the huddle. You not only did it once, but you did it twice back to back, and you have 4 false starts. Now I heard people say that the 12th man, Seattle crowd, played, was the cause of this. Granted, I give them credit, and I say, okay, the 12th man did play their part too. But what I failed to see anybody realize or mention is what really happened along with the crowd playing the part. Icky was getting his ass whipped by Mafe on that left side. That young guy came with speed, bend, and he was giving Icky fits all day long. So naturally, your left tackle gonna be a little bit more antsy to try to get out his stance. He's gonna try to get a head start before that defensive end. Well, in those situations, it caused him to false start. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 times. That not only a product of the noise, that's a product of Bowie Mafe playing an excellent game at defensive end that was applying pressure to Icky all game long. And he was trying to adjust to that, which caused him to have 4 false starts. Now, that's what I saw when I looked at the game and when I went back and looked at the tape. It don't take a rocket scientist to figure out what happened here. You know what I mean? But like I said, right. Yeah, we could blame it on coaching. I'm not gonna say it doesn't have some effect, but it's not all like some make it out to be, because at the end of the day, the player has to execute. He has to execute, point blank, period. that there's no other way around it. And Mafia was getting the best of him.
And what got me was on the one that the most egregious one was when Andy Dalton was coming to the line of scrimmage. Well, he was behind the he's behind the line, and he walked up to make adjustments, and he was walking up to yell out to the linemen so they knew what the play was. Okay, they knew what the play was. Yes. My thing is, why in the hell? Why in the hell did Icom? Okay, why in the hell did Icom jump? Andy Dalton was coming to the line to call out the adjustments or whatever play he was switching to or whatnot. Now that one I do not understand. I can't blame that on the coaches at all. My thing is you get scared. You see your quarterback walk up to the line of scrimmage to make adjustments, and you feel like you got to take the hell off. You can tell he was getting his ass beat the whole game.
Yeah. Now, granted, now he couldn't see. Both times he didn't look inside when Andy Dalton was stepped into the line and make those adjustments of the play.
Mm-hmm.
What should have happened, in my opinion, Chandler Zavala should have relayed the message, whatever he was hearing, he should have relayed it to Icky. But also the other thing was nobody on the defensive side of the ball caused him to jump. They didn't give it like a little hezzy or anything like that. Like everybody was still, and you were the only person that jumped. What that tells me was Mafia was living rent-free in his head all game long, and it showed.
The wind must have blew old buddy jersey and made it flap a little bit. It was time to go. I mean something. Now, mind you, Icky wasn't the only one, because I think Moulton had 2 false starts. Zavala had 1. He might have
had one, and I think Bozeman had 1.
Yeah. So it was a bad day all across the offensive line. But you know, for your starting left tackle to have 4 false start penalties, okay, it's bad all around. Blame it on whoever you want to. Blame it on the coaches, blame it on the players. In my evaluation of this team this year, all of them got to take the blame. Okay, it's enough to go around. All right, but I will say this. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that was just one of the most horrendous offensive lines play that I've seen since the beginning of last year.
Yeah, but you can tell Frank Wright was pissed about those penalties because he came out and he was like, "We practiced this all week long." He said it was so loud. Or was it on like Tuesday or Wednesday that you couldn't even hear yourself think, you know? And he doesn't understand how Andy Dalton, you know, wasn't, you know, how he came out of that. He still had voice left, you know, because they were yelling, you know, practicing, changing plays, protections, and all that stuff with the music or whatever it was, you know, crowd noise blaring so loud. So it's not like they didn't practice it. Not like they didn't practice it. So
exactly,
you know, we'll see. But you know, the Panthers, I mean, we did get a turnover. Okay. Deion Jones had a nice play and picked off Geno Smith. But you know, for the rest of this, you know, stat wise, you know, the rush attack was pitiful. Okay. Passing game finally woke up. You know, I keep hearing everybody saying, "Oh, Andy Dalton shine. Andy Dalton shine." Yeah, he did. He did shine, and I'm glad to see that the offense perked up. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's still the same outcome. We lost.
Facts.
You know, and the only reason I say that is because, you know, I'm still Team Bryce. I don't give a damn what nobody's saying. Okay, I don't give a damn how nobody feels. All right, but my thing is, when Bryce Young comes back, I want to see this same style of play calling that we saw against Seattle. Because I dare anybody to tell me that was the same play calling that we've seen over the first 2 games. Now, whether they felt more comfortable doing that with Andy Dalton, that might be a whole different story. But my thing is, you got to give your rookie quarterback a chance to learn. He's going to make mistakes, but you got to give him the opportunity to make plays if they're there. You know, every situation, every play call, you know, even if you're aggressive, every play call is not going to be a bad play call. There might be an opportunity in one of them shots that you try to take that your rookie quarterback can make. But if he doesn't get that opportunity, you know, you don't get nothing for him. So
yeah, that's true. I'm like you. I want to see them. I want to see the same passing scheme when Bryce come back that we saw this week. Give him some short 3-step drop passes, you know, easy completions to get him in the flow of the game, to get the passing game moving, you know, hopefully, you know, take a couple shots downfield. Because I think they even asked Frank Wright, or somebody asked him in the press conference yesterday that they noticed that he threw the ball a little bit more downfield against the Seahawks than he did in the first 2 games. And he kind of admitted that, you know, he did. So I'm like, okay, whatever the recipe that you use Sunday, this needs to be the recipe that you use and build upon going forward when Bryce Young gets back. Because Andy Dalton, yes, he is a 12-year veteran, whatever, got a wealth of experience and whatnot. But Andy Dalton looked like he was back playing in Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying? Adam Thielen looked like he was back playing his first couple years in Minnesota. But that's what happens when you shake the passing game up and you go to the strength. You know, go to your strengths. So we got a taste of what it looks. We got a taste of what it looks like. We just hope this is the formula that they use going forward.
All right. Exactly. I agree. All right. Moving on here. We got PFF grades, and I got this off of PanthersWire.com. And the best and worst from the offense. So you had Andy Dalton was the best of the offense, and Chandler Zavala was the worst of the offense. Okay. Now Andy Dalton was followed by Adam Thielen, Miles Sanders. I'm going to assume because he did a little bit of work in the passing game, you know, run game wasn't anything to write home about. You know, Tommy Tremble, you know, he caught a few passes, he did good. But look at our highest graded offensive lineman. Look at that, number 5, Calvin Throckmorton. Okay, that's a weird ass name, Throckmorton. I wonder who mashed those, whatever that is, to make that. I would love to know the backstory on that name, but that Calvin Throckmorton, that's a weird name. But
you're gonna lay off that man government.
hey, but you know, according to PFF, he graded out the best of all of our offensive linemen. And then if you look over here, folks, look at number 15, 16, and 17. Like I said, Bradley Bozeman, Ikem Ekwonu, Chandler Zavala. Okay, and there were multiple plays. Bradley Bozeman got pushed back a lot in this game. Chandler Zavala got pushed back a lot. There was one play, it was so bad. I can't remember who it was. I think it was number 97 for Seattle. I don't remember his name. He pushed Zavala all the way back into Andy Dalton. He pushed him so fast that he actually bumped him. Andy Dalton stumbled and then had to throw the ball away because somebody else from the other side was coming at him. And I think that was whoever Taylor Moton's guy was about to hit him. You know, so it was it was a bad day. It was a bad day for the O-line. It was a bad day. When your newest arrival, you know, your newest arrival who was signed, I want to say right before the season
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
No, Throckmorton just got added after the first week. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, before the first week.
Or the week of the first week
of game 1. Yeah. He was here before he's probably here that week of game 1. But yeah. But Calvin Throckmorton was our best offensive lineman on Sunday, according to PFF. You know, from what I saw, it looked that way too.
Yeah. Speaking on Bradley Bozeman, man, listen, we stomped for Bradley Bozeman last year,
Hard.
and as like we do with all our players, we'll praise them when they do good, but we're gonna get on your ass when you do bad. And Bradley Bozeman, Sunday was not a good day for you, my friend. Like you like this is probably the worst showing he had as a Panther. Now, some people will say, "Oh, he just had one bad day, blah blah blah." Okay, but that one bad day was just a one. It was a bad day, no matter how you slice it. And this is what we talk about. We talk about what happens each and every Sunday. If you play good, we mention. If you didn't, we're gonna mention that too. And he had a bad day. He had a bad day at the office. Jaron Reed,
big
number 90
right here.
Yeah, right there. Had his number all day. You know what I mean?
Business.
So yeah. You win some and lose some, but like I said, the offensive line as a whole, except for Calvin Throckmorton, that it was a disappointment. We couldn't even take advantage of the run defense of Seattle. We couldn't take advantage that they had so many starters defensively out of the game. Like I said, our pass game, woke up, but we couldn't establish nothing on the run. And I heard somebody say, a couple people say on Twitter, "Well, why we get away from the run game? Why we get away from the run game? If you run the ball and you ain't getting no damn where, you get away from it. The whole point of the game is to win the game. It ain't to go out and say, well, we said we're going to run it 30 times, so let's go run it 30 times. No matter if we only get 25 yards, we're still going to run it 30 times. No, you do what you need to do to win the game. If the run game is working, stick to it. If it ain't working, you got to go to plan B. You got to do something else. You don't just run the ball just to be running the damn ball. That's just crazy.
But I will add on to this though. Now we have been advocating all year for them to open up the passing game. Okay. I will say the same thing for the running game, because it seems to me like the only running plays they have are in between the center and the guards. I haven't seen anything really like, off tackle, any kind of you got your guards pulling. And I will show a play later on from Seattle of what I mean, something that they did, but I haven't seen a whole lot of that. It's like if they're handing off and they're running up the middle, and it's getting stuffed, and they're not adjusting.
But you know what? We offensively, from an offensive line standpoint, our offensive line haven't really created spaces for these running backs to hit the holes. On a consistent basis. Now, Chuba Hubbard had, a good game one. Didn't get enough touches, in my opinion. We should have rode the hot hand of that game. Game two, he did okay. I mean, him and Miles both did okay. Again, they didn't ride the hot hand, or they didn't run the ball enough in that game, because that game they was averaging over at least I think it was 5.5 yards per carry. But Sunday, they couldn't move a mustard seed in an open hole. They couldn't do anything. So there was no need to stick with a running game when the running game was non-existent.
Yeah, I give you that one. I give you that one. But I'm still throw in adjustments. If something's not working, you got to have a plan B. And then they shut down plan A, plan B.
But what are you going to adjust to? Like, so you got a running game and a passing game. If they shut down the running game, what is plan B other than the passing game? There ain't another running game you can go to.
No, but what I was saying is the type of running plays that they were running. It looked like everything was up the middle. It was like they didn't try any kind of outside runs, no toss, no sweeps, no counters, no nothing. Everything was straight Madden, I formation almost. I mean, it wasn't I formation, But you know, that's the first thing I think of when I think of Madden is that I formation because that's what I use all the time. But you know, it was like it was straight halfback dive, or you know, they on the shotgun, hand off, run up the middle, stuffed. Okay, that's what it looked like to me, and that's why I was saying, you know, adjustments. That's why I was saying plan A, plan B. Like, okay, the inside run game is not working. Let's try the outside. Let's get out on these tackles and see what they're doing. That don't run. Okay, you know what? Shit, we gotta run. We gotta throw the ball.
I just honestly think that Seattle was better up front than we were, and there was nothing that we could have done in the run game that could have changed the outcome of that. That's just my opinion.
I got you. Yeah. All right, let's move on here. Injuries. All right, they are piling up on us, Panther Nation. They are piling up on us. And the biggest one from this game was Frankie Louvu, and he had a hip pointer. And as of yesterday, I think Frank Wright didn't have any more updates on these guys, but you had Frankie Louvu with a hip pointer, Xavier Woods hamstring, CJ Henderson ankle, Jonathan Mingo concussion. And I'll tell you this yesterday, but Lord have mercy, I never thought I would say that CJ Henderson being out was like, oh my goodness, I really wish he was in the game. You know, now even still, I think the outcome would have been the same. You know, I think the cornerbacks did okay. You know, but at this point, we don't need to be losing them. Okay, we got it. We got to keep everybody healthy. Now I give CJ Henderson hell. He had a good game last week, and I think he was doing okay on the play. He got hurt. He was guarding DK Metcalf in the end zone. And what I will say about CJ Henderson the past 2 games, one thing that he hasn't done, he didn't do it in the first game, but it seemed like somebody may have talked to him or whatever. But he's starting to turn around, get his head turned around, locate the ball and try to make plays instead of just running into people, throwing his hands up in the air and just, you know, wishing for the best. Okay.
Right.
So
I agree with you. I think the past 2 games have been his 2 games, his best 2 games thus far in Panthers uniform on a consistent basis. I think the consistency throughout the whole game, not one interception here or one good tackle, something like that. Like consistently throughout the game, these last 2 games have been pretty good for him.
Yeah, but Louvu, that one hurts. That one hurts a lot.
Yes.
So I am hoping and praying that he'll possibly be ready to go for Minnesota. But waiting to see any updates from the Panthers today. Xavier Wood, I say all of these, you know, the same thing. I think Sam Franklin did okay, you know, filling in for him. But
besides getting on angry runs.
Yeah, we'll look at that later. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. Jonathan Mingo with the concussion. I hope he clears protocols and is ready to go for the Vikings too.
Right.
But yeah, injuries, they are definitely piling up on us, and you know, these were at the worst time in this game because you think about what Frankie Louvu meant to us in the first half and how that affected our defense in the second half. So,
oh yeah.
All right. So Tony, I'm gonna give this to you as we talked about positives from the offense.
So, you know, my positives, number 1 was the passing scheme. I was glad to see the change in philosophy when it came to passing the ball Sunday. I like the short passing game, 3-step drops, get out the quarterback hand quick. I seen Adam Thielen run a couple sluggo routes. You know, I hadn't seen that in training camp or throughout preseason, anything like that. And also why I mentioned Adam Thielen, because we did a video about a month ago when we was talking about who will be potentially wide receiver 1 for the Panthers. And everybody was talking about not everybody, but most people was talking about DJ Chark, this and that, this, yada yada yada. I was like, well, don't count out Adam Thielen because that is a proven savvy veteran. Oh, but he done lost a step, this and that, yada yada yada. Well, I can't tell. He showed out yesterday with like 11 receptions for 145 yards, if I'm not mistaken. I know I just had my stats go. Yeah, 11 for 145 and 1 touchdown. So it's like a 13.2 yard average. So he showed these young guys that he still got it. He can still go get it. He was doing most of his damage from the inside, from the slot position. A couple times he did it on the boundary, but he had a very, very productive day. Again with Andy Dalton, had an amazing day. I was glad to see that he didn't have any interceptions. He didn't have any fumbles. He was like you mentioned, 34 for 58 for 361 yards. I think that was like a 58% completion percentage. You would like to see that number higher, but the man threw it damn near 60 times. So a credit to him that he didn't throw any interceptions. He didn't have any turnovers. So I think that was a good, brilliant day from Andy Dalton. I also think DJ Chark also had a good day as well. 4 receptions, 86 yards, and a touchdown. I think that came out to 21.5 yard average per catch. And he did some things yesterday that he's known for. Things that Panther Nation should be excited for going forward and hope that we see more of the deep ball connection. He has great body control, hand-eye coordination, and he can get past, he can take the top off of defense. So you want to see that. You want to see that vertical stretch. That's another way you can open up the passing game. You can back those safeties off the line of scrimmage a little bit, open up that middle. Saw that yesterday. That's how Adam Thielen was able to do what he was doing. Even against zone coverage that Seattle was running, he was finding his spots in the zone, sitting there, making the completion, and there you have it. And overall, as an offense, we had no turnovers. We didn't have no fumbles. And again, Andy Dalton didn't have any interceptions. So I love what I saw from the passing game. The running game, as you mentioned earlier, definitely looked anemic. Hopefully, this coming Sunday at home, we play the Vikings, and we can pick that up. Hopefully that can catch up to where the passing game seems like it's going forward with at this point in time. But that's all I got. That's pretty much all the positive I had for the game.
All right. Cool beans. I agree with all that. Now, my turn. The negative.
Right, let me give me a drink and this should be good.
All right. So you see the top of this slide right here. We have our just about our entire offensive line. But out of the, let me see, the 8 false start penalties, Icky had 4. I think Moulton had 2. Zavala had 1. And like we said earlier, Bozeman had 1. The entire offensive line, it was bad. It was bad the entire game. They did give Andy Dalton, some time to throw the ball, but like we were saying, in previous games, they were going to have to do something. Like you said, there were more 3-step drops. It was like 1, 2, get the ball out. Okay, it wasn't a whole lot of that in the first 2 games. It was like every route they were calling was a deep ball to the parking lot. Okay,
right.
So the plays were the routes were long developing routes, and this game they got the ball out quick, but it was just a whole lot of penalties, and then if you go back and look at the tape, the offensive linemen were getting pushed back. The interiors, Zavala, Bozeman, and even Throckmorton on a couple plays, they were getting pushed back. The line of scrimmage was consistently, 2-3 yards in the backfield, and that's never a good day for your offense. Okay,
No, sir.
Like you said, what's my man name that was giving Icky the business? Maffa.
Bowie Mafe.
Yeah, Boy Mafe. Icky was getting the business with him, and even there was times where Taylor Moton was struggling over on the right side too. So it was just a bad day altogether for the offensive line. And and when you have 14 rushes for 44 yards, all right. What else can we
say it
say?
again.
14 rushes for 44 yards. The offensive line was not opening up any kind of holes, any kind of running lanes for these backs to get through on a consistent basis. Okay. And like we was talking about earlier, Andy Dalton ended up having to throw it 776 times. So yeah. All right. Now, speaking of that, down in the bottom right, our rushing attack. That was another negative, just like I just said. We totaled 14 rushes for 44 yards. Miles Sanders had 9 carries for 24 yards and a touchdown. Andy Dalton was our second leading rusher, 2 carries for 11 yards. Laviska had 2 carries for 7 yards. Chuba had 1 carry for 2 yards. And my thing is, like Laviska, I had such high hopes for him this year. But if he gets in the game, it's so predictable. It's one of two plays. They're going to line him up in the backfield and try to run him straight up the gut into a group of defenders, or they're going to try and throw a screen. Those are the only damn plays he has run this entire damn season. This entire season. If that isn't the epitome of predictable, I don't know what is. Okay? So moving on here. Bottom left, got a picture of Kenneth Walker III flexing like that young man should, because he ran all over us. All right. Let me see. He had 18 carries for 97 yards, 2 touchdowns. Hell, he even had 3 catches for 59 yards. So he was doing his damage on the ground and in the air. And why I bring that up is the same thing I've been saying all season long. Okay. All season long. The Panthers rush defense is pitiful. It is pitiful. It is absolutely pitiful. Okay. We have given let me see, 410 yards on the ground this season, which comes out to 136.6 yards per game. I'm sorry, 136.7. And that is, let me see, what, 29th in the league?
Yeah. I could tell you in a minute.
Pitiful.
It's up there.
Yeah. Let me see. I think it's
right now we have the 28th ranked rushing defense at 137 yards a game.
Yep. Pitiful. And the thing is, every team from here on out, if they got a half decent rushing attack, everybody's laid out the formula. Just run the ball.
Right. It's a copycat league.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, we gave up that many rushing yards versus a team whose starting tackles, and I think the one of their starting guards were injured, didn't even play. We gave all that up to backups.
Exactly.
Backups. So for the most part of their offensive line, we played against backups. And we still giving up those kind of runs. So, I keep hearing, oh, the defense is playing well enough to win. The defense is playing well enough to win. I mean, I beg to differ. Okay, I beg to differ. They're playing well enough to win. They're playing well enough at times. Okay, well enough for us to win. Because now Seattle, what was it? They got 4 field goals in the first half. We were up 13-12 at halftime. My thing is, even though we held them to field goals, those were still 4 drives where they drove down the field. Just think about 1 or 2 of those. If we could have stopped them in plus territory for us and got the ball back and come down and try to come down the field. Now, I know that our offense is struggling, okay? But as a defense, we got to be able to get stops and make them punt. They had scoring drive. I think they scored on every drive in the first half except for maybe 1 or maybe 2 interception. I can't remember when the interception happened.
Well, you definitely want to see the defense get stops, get turnovers, because those situations create more opportunities for your offense to go out there and make something happen. So even a lot of times when you see offenses look sluggish, with these slow starts or haven't produced any points in the first quarter, first few drives or what have you, if the defense is out there getting turnovers and creating turnovers and getting stops, it gives the offense the opportunity to try to, hopefully get on track. You know what I mean? So you're getting you're giving the offense more opportunities to do so. When you're not, only time you getting the ball back on the offensive end is when your defense doesn't allow 3 points or 6 points. Every time they allow somebody's offense to go down the field, like there's no stops.
Yep. Basically. So those are my negatives, folks, and it's kind of been well. Let me see the offensive line. I mean, it's just the rush defense has been a negative for me the entire season. It's 3 games. Our rush offense started off good, okay, versus the Falcons, kind of dwindled versus the Saints. Our offensive line started off great versus the Falcons, dwindled a little bit versus the Saints, and then it's like both of them just absolutely fell apart in this game. And then our rush defense has just continued to be pitiful. Okay, so
yeah,
but that's all I got.
Like
on
you
that.
say, you wanna have all 3 phases of the game clicking at the same time: offense, defense, and special teams. If you can't at least get 2 out of the 3, you in for a long day.
You're gonna be in for a long
That's just
season.
the truth of the matter. Yeah, that too.
They can't get all of them together. They can't get right.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay one game at a time, sir. Just one game at a time.
Hey, let me tell you, if it stinks, it's probably shit. And right now, it's a big old pile of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. 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 The stuff that's going wrong is going wrong, and it doesn't. I haven't seen anything yet to give me hope that it's going to start going right. 3 games, 130 yards a game. Yeah, that's a problem.
So the passing game didn't give you any hope. 27 points, even though we lost, but it didn't give you any glimpse or a little bit of hope going further that things could possibly start to turn around.
But the passing game was in the positives. I'm talking about the negatives.
Right. No, I know, but you was talking about hope going forward, and I was like,
I'm talking about the negatives. Hope for the negatives. The passing game look good this past game. I ain't got nothing to say about that.
Okay.
Passing game look good. It's just that you sprinkle in some of these on some of those possessions, especially in the first half, and then the offense stalled out. You know what I mean? What's Andy Dalton supposed to do when he got 2 defensive linemen pushing his offensive lineman 4 yards in the backfield, and they a foot in front of him, and he's got to improvise?
Well, that's why I was saying when it came to the run game, like people talking about you should have stuck with the run. There was no run game. There was no run game to stick to Sunday. Point blank period. There was no run game whatsoever. You can't stick with something that ain't working.
True. All right, let's move on here. Next slide, I just named it bruh. Okay. Because me personally, I feel like these 2 guys, Brian Burns has showed up in spurts. Okay. It's like he makes a play or 2 and he disappears for the rest of the game. Okay. Now, if y'all disagree, please leave us a comment. Let me know how you feel. Jeremy Chin.
Explain yourself.
Jeremy Chin, if I'm not mistaken, this cat has made 1 play this season that stood out, and that was last week when he jumped up and batted the Derek Carr pass, and it was incomplete. That's the only thing I can remember that Jeremy Chin has done this season that has made him stand out. Yeah, because like we were talking about, Tony, we were all promised this. He was going to be all over the field. He was going to be in different positions. He's going to be a playmaker. Cam Chancellor-esque, Joker. Defense is not going to know. I mean, offense ain't going to know what to do with him because he's going to be coming at you from all angles. All right. Do I still think that may be a possibility? Yes. But I'm bringing it up because we have not seen it so far. And I think that's another issue. So,
the thing about that situation with Jeremy Chin is like you're 0-3. Right now is a time that you want to pull out, or you should want to pull out all the stops to not be 0-3. Like it should have been pulled out this week as you was 0-2 going into the game with Seattle. So whatever it is, I hope there's nothing that Evero is holding back with Jeremy Chin. But the usage and the way that he has used Jeremy Chin thus far is less productive than what he did last year with Phil Snow. In my opinion, like there's nothing about Jeremy Chin that stood out that would remind me of what he had with Justin Simmons in Denver last year, or doesn't remind me of anything about Cam Chancellor 2.0. Jeremy Chin has been a no-show. And I'm not saying it's not any fault of his. I'm questioning the scheme and the way that they're using him right now. They're not maximizing his full potential and his greatest strength. That's all I can say on that.
Yeah. And then I slide, and I agree with you on all of that too. And I slide back over here to Brian Burns. And I read a comment. I forgot what it was on Facebook, Twitter, or one of our YouTube videos or something. And somebody said something about Brian Burns, and they were like, man, you don't need him going out there getting 1 sack a game. And then somebody else commented up under that, and they were like, 1 sack a game will equal 17 sacks for the season.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I thought about that, and I was like, well, I said, 1 sack a game. That's 17 sacks for the season. 17 sacks in the season. That's a great season in the NFL today. Okay. But, I also thought about that too. And I was just like, how many of these sacks are like meaningful? Okay. Cause like I said before,
right,
he's getting a lot of his work in early in the game. But then when we need it in crunch time, and not just him, and not just him, I bring up Brian Burns because everybody's like, pay him this, and I've said the same thing too. Go ahead and pay that man now.
Right.
But at the same time, the Panthers and Panther Nation need their ROI, return on investment during crunch time of these games. We don't need you go out there and making these, fantastic plays in the first quarter or the second quarter, and then after halftime you disappear. Mind you, I'll take the plays in the first and second quarter, but it just seems like so far, I don't know if it comes down to, like I like to say again, other teams are making adjustments and the Panthers are not. But Brian Burns gets off a couple plays a game, and then it's like, he disappears.
Well, it's just like when the whole contract extension and stuff came about, and it was talking about what would Brian Burns worth be, and we was looking at different tiers that he could possibly fall under. We didn't think he was going to get TJ Watt or Joey Bosa or Nick Bosa type money, but we thought it was more aligned with Harold Landry, Max Crosby, those guys. When I think about the upper echelon, the top tier defensive ends, when you talk about TJ Watt, when you talk about Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, those guys affect the game play in and play out. They're not just no one hit wonder or one sack wonder or one play wonder. They are affecting the game every single snap they're out there. Whether they get to the quarterback or not, whether they get a sack or not, you feel their presence every single play. Every play. You don't see that same thing with Brian Burns. And that's why I made that statement back then, and I'm still stand on it. Hit the type of money that Brian Burns want. I understand that everybody thinks they're more valuable than what they really are. And here's another way to look at it. If you are just basing it on what does he mean to the Panthers, yes, 35 million a year, he's worth it. Okay, because he's arguably right now the Panthers' best player. But when you look into to compare him to the rest of the defensive ends in the NFL, you have to look at it in its totality. What is his market value based on the NFL, not just the Panthers, based on the NFL? And based on the NFL, from what I've seen, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but in my opinion, he's not worth that top tier echelon type money. Close to it, yes, but up there to get it, no. And I think that's probably one of the largest hiccups, or the hiccup in the negotiation. Brian Burns won this. The Panthers saying, we think you're right here, and they can't seem to meet in the middle.
But if the reports are true and he wants 28, I think the Panthers should give him the 28 and just be done with this.
I think he'll be worth it, because the price goes up every year. At every position, the price goes up. And as the TV revenue goes up, and the CBA, collective bargaining agreement, it's in their contract, to get a certain percentage of raise each year, it's going to do nothing but go up, just like it does every year. So if you're going to lock him down, you might as well lock him down now as opposed to next year, because as the saying goes, yesterday's price ain't today's price.
Right about that one. Right about that one.
Yeah.
Well, Tony, that's hey, we usually try to keep it simple, keep it short on here, but we had a lot to talk about today, bro. I'm always on you. I'm always on you about, we gotta keep these episodes short. We gotta be, to the point, get our point across and move on. But now we had some shit to talk about today, buddy. But I do got one more thing. Got one more thing before we get up out of here. Okay. And it is, hold on. Let me go ahead and put this back. Okay.
Oh my God.
Yes. Yes. If you want to sum up the Panthers season, I think this play does it very well.
Thus far.
Okay.
Thus far.
Thus far. Yeah, thus far after 3 games. Because my man up here, Sam Franklin, okay, I think has been Panther Nation's expectations this season. All right. And what's my man name? What's his first name? Is it Zach Charbonnet?
Yeah, Zach Charbonnet.
Zach Charbonnet,
UCLA.
Okay. Zach Charbonnet is the reality, and the rest of the NFL laughing at us. Okay. So let me go ahead and hit play here. Okay. Now, mind you, pay attention. Sam Franklin is Panther Nation and all our expectations this season, and Zach Charbonnet is the NFL in reality. All right. All right. So here we go. There's the NFL. Here come my expectations. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Oh my God.
And you know what? And another thing I want to point out on this play too. Okay. Now, this motion, Kenneth Walker was up in the slot, and he motioned across the field. That motion effed up the entire defense. It messed up the entire defense. Look at Frank.
Before you hit play, go ahead. But before you hit play, let me get in. I'm gonna show you what happened.
Good.
Oh no! Well, you see, you see, Kenneth Walker coming in motion. They call that jet motion. It shifts the linebackers. So if you look right there, pause. Look where Deion Jones is at. Yeah, he's behind the left guard. Yeah. So if you draw a line from the center position straight down, what you got is all your line, most of the defense on the left side, which their left side. I'm sorry, Carolina's left side, Seattle's right side. And look who they're going to run the ball towards. Look who's up there at the top. Who's up there at the top?
Gross Matos.
No. At the top. Who's the cornerback?
Oh,
Dante.
Yeah.
Dante. You got Dante and Sam Franklin. Those two is who you got to stop Zach Charbonnet coming that way. Honestly, it was a great scheme. It was a great scheme by Seattle. You know, we just talking ball. It was a great scheme. They ran it right at the weakest link when it comes to tackling. They know Dante Jackson didn't want none of that action. He didn't want none of that smoke.
But, you know what I mean? Hold on now. When I run this play now watch Gross Matos. Okay, watch Gross Matos and watch the left tackle, the left guard from Seattle, because both of them are gonna block down. All right, and then the right tackle and right guard are going to
pull.
They're going to pull. Okay, they're going to pull to the left. But watch, look at Gross Matos right here. He is the defensive. He's the outside linebacker right there at the top. Watch Gross Matos.
Okay.
What the hell was that? Did you see what he did? Look at this.
Yeah. He ducked. I don't know why he tried the cutoff block. Now, like I said, I don't know what the defensive scheme was, but if anything, he should have took on that offensive lineman with his inside shoulder to leave his outside shoulder free. That way, he can get off the block and keep the running back from bouncing outside. But when he ducked down right there, go ahead. Start right there. Start right there. When he ducked down right there,
he gave up the entire edge
over there. Yeah,
he gave up the entire edge. Because my thing is this: if you see Geno Smith about to potentially hand the ball off to Charbonnet or not, depending on what the read is, why in God's name would you go and try to duck under 2-3 offensive linemen? You know, hold your position on the outside. That baffled me, because like when I was talking about this motion. Now, when the play starts, all of our defense is going this way. Look at Sam Franklin. He's pointing because he's thinking.
Leave that pause right there. As you see Geno Smith handing the ball off to Charbonnet, Gross Matos can see that.
He can see that.
He can see that. He has a clear picture to read the defense and see exactly what's going on. I don't know what in the hell possessed him. I don't know. I got nothing.
Yeah.
I got nothing. Go ahead.
Well, yeah. It just and hold on and wait a minute. And then hold on. And then Gross Matos got the nerve to get up and throw his hands up. Like what did you think somebody did to you? I don't know. And then Charbonnet get Deion Jones a stiff hand. And he said, good night, Gracie. So yeah. I had to throw that play in, because let me tell you, when I say Sam Franklin got baptized in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Shoulder, bruh. Bruh. But yeah, that's basically been the Panthers season so far in a nutshell. Franklin was our expectations, and Charbonnet was our reality. It's hit us rather hard as a franchise and an organization and a fan base. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, y'all. But Tony, you got anything else you want to say before we get out of here, cuz?
Nope. Keep hope alive, and look for a better outcome this Sunday at home against the Vikings.
All right. Well, Panther Nation, as always, if you haven't already, please hit that like button, subscribe, turn on those post notification bells so you know when our videos come out. We appreciate all the love and support that you have shown us so far on our way to our goal of 1,000 subscribers. Okay. So, as I say every week, y'all be good. Y'all be safe. And even though we 0-3, keep pounding, y'all.